All right, folks, so I'm across the street from the cemetery that I normally clean headstones at. If you've watched any of my videos, I'm normally up against that blue building over there, cleaning headstones. But I wanted to come over here because I wanted to kind of draw a comparison between these two graveyards. The graveyard I'm currently in is Lakeview. The one across the street is now just referred to as a municipal cemetery. But I'm standing here in front of 2 rows of Confederate headstones. These are newer headstones. They're the granite style. They've probably been here since the early 2000s. I would assume they're maybe 20 years old. Somebody has taken a lot of time to ensure that the story of these Confederate soldiers are told. On the bottom of these stones, you have a little story about each person. This guy, Captain William Duffy, fought Sherman's army in the Atlanta campaign of 1864. You have Philip Bulger, Company G, carried the colors at Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, wounded in battle. Pennsylvania is about 1,600 miles from Galveston. So these are all newer headstones. In fact, one of them is so new, walk over there right quick, it still has that black embossing in it. You can see it right here. This is a major, this is like a brand new stone almost. And this cemetery is full of these Confederate stones, and you can see they're upright, they're not laying on the ground, they're not broken, they're relatively clean. In a little bit, we're going to walk across to the other cemetery, and I'm going to show you what is going on over there with primarily black military personnel, guys that fought in World War I. I mean, these guys, the majority of them were born in the 1890s, so you're talking about really your first generation of blacks born free. And what did they do with that freedom? They went on to serve their country and fight in World War I. And I think that their story should be told as lovingly as the story of these Confederate soldiers across the street from them. So I'm not knocking anybody for this. I can almost probably guarantee you that the guys who put this up, the men and women who ordered these stones and took this time to look up who these people are, they have a great reverence for the military, and I'm sure if they paid attention to what was going on across the street from here, they would probably be as shocked and as disgusted as I am on the treatment of these World War I veterans right across the street. And when we get over there, I've walked around a little bit more. It is far worse than even I knew. I knew of 2 broken stones. When we get over there, you're just going to see a complete disaster. So I'll show you that in a minute. But there is one more thing that I thought was kind of important for everyone to see. I'm going to drive over there right quick. So here are some more Confederate headstones. These are also a newer style Confederate headstone. The older ones, the shield is kind of carved out, and then the name kind of protrudes out from the shield. And you can see one of them is also a granite stone. But again, they do need some cleaning. But pretty much they look very good. You can read them. They're upright. They're not broken. They're not laying on the ground. But this is what I really wanted to show you guys. So if you're a fan of history like me, you know, you've probably watched every single Civil War movie there is out there. You know, you've read some books about it, stuff like that. But this was kind of an eye-opener for me, right here. This is Captain Thomas Gonzalez. The name itself ought to stop you in your tracks, right? Company A, Texas Light Artillery, Confederate States Army. He was born in 1828, and he died in 1896. And the reason this is shocking to me is because it doesn't really fit what probably the majority of us have been taught, and that is a bunch of white guys down in the South wanted to keep slaves, and a bunch of North guys, or a bunch of guys in the North, said that's not going to happen, and a war ensued. And so when you see a name like Thomas Gonzalez, I mean, we've all been taught how pretty much racist the Confederacy was. To see that you have essentially a Mexican last name, Gonzalez, and I say Mexican, it could be from somewhere else, but I mean, this is the 1800s, 1860s, around the bout. Was the Civil War. These are going to be Mexicans. And so they have not only somebody with a Mexican last name fighting within the Confederate States Army, but to also obtain the rank of captain is kind of a red pill moment for me. I've had to go in and look up exactly who these guys are, and I was kind of blown away by the amount of Mexicans that actually fought in the Confederacy. And so I just wanted to show that to you before we go across the street and take a look at the other cemetery. All right, so we're over here on the other side of the street. I'm gonna start out kind of looking at the stones that I've recently cleaned, but I want to walk from here and just kind of walk around and show you how this cemetery looks. So we're going to try to count these up. So this stone right here, I believe, used to sit right here on this base. It's broken. It's just kind of leaning up against the fence. Right? So there's one. Here's another headstone, veteran headstone, laying on the ground. That's two. You can see that one just looks terrible. Here's another one. Johnny Miller, another World War I veteran, another hero whose stone is just knocked over and laying on the ground. You can see the condition that this cemetery is in. I mean, everything is just falling apart. But here's another veteran's headstone, just kind of leaning over, about ready to fall. There's that Jewel Cage, Private U.S. Army, died 1938. And now take a look at this. Here's an original. Here's an original here. This is a Confederate. Oh no, wait a minute. This is in a Spanish-American War. Wow. I can't even read this. I can tell it's Spanish-American War. I'm going to come back and clean this one. That's pretty amazing. The name is Verney. Wow, I don't know. VERNELAWTON, Lawton? Okay. Here's another veteran's headstone, just laying down. Can't read it. It's on its face. I think that's what, 4 so far. I mean, it's upkept. I'll say that. The city does come out here a lot and mow. Matter of fact, they're out here weed eating right now. Every time I come out here, these guys are out here working. So here's another Spanish-American War. Seth Jefferson. I don't know if that's a corporal. Yeah. Spanish-American War, wow. Let's keep walking. I see another veteran headstone over there laying down. We'll get to that in a second. And you can see the condition. They're just all leaning. Don't really see anything else on this side. Let's cross over. I think we're up to 4 that are just kind of knocked over. Here's this one just kind of teetering. It's like somebody may have picked it up and placed it up there. But you can see, that's just dangerous. That could fall on somebody. Let's go check this stone over here. No. I know I saw another veteran headstone over here knocked over. Or what appeared to be one. Yeah. There's another Veteran headstone, Hamilton Bates, March 29th, 1924. What is that, 5? Well, these are all good. Oh, here's a broken one. Right here. It's a World War II veteran. Died in 1945. Come on. Are you kidding me? Here's another one that's broken. Another World War I veteran. Here's another one. Uh, 1894 to 1945. That's probably also a World War I veteran. Broken. Unbelievable. I know about this one over here. I've showed this broken stone before. Look at this one. Look at that. What a disgrace. So here's this other broken veteran headstone. Eugene Kearney, we've seen this one before. I'm gonna kind of stay away from where these guys are weed eating. I don't want to get in their way. I mean, this is just unbelievable to me. I mean, this is not some podunk town out in the middle of nowhere. This is Galveston. And it's Texas, and in Texas, we're supposed to be better than that. To just leave our veterans' gravestones in this condition it's horrible. And then, of course, the last one that I've shown before in another video is laying over here on the ground. Here's the last one that I can really see. Like I said, I'm not going to go over where the guys are weed eating, but here's the last one. I mean, when you contrast that to what is going on just right over there across the street, if we've got the time and the energy to spend on Confederate stones, which I agree also need to be tended to. I mean, there is so much historical value. Like I said before, these guys right here, when you look at the dates they were born, this truly is that first generation that was born free. The majority of these guys in here, I didn't look at all of these stones, these military stones. I don't know if everybody in this cemetery is black, but I know that from what I've looked up so far, every one of them have been. And so to see that these guys took their freedom and ran with it and joined the military, I mean, if there was anybody that had a reason, I mean, nowadays people hate our country for every little small thing. The adversity and the hate that these guys ran into, that in and of itself would probably kill a lot of people nowadays. Oh, look, here's another headstone that I missed. There's another one just laying over here. They're just everywhere. But to see that these guys who had every reason to hate this country decided to serve it, to fight for it, is amazing to me. And they should be honored. There should be some signs up here showing who these individuals were. You know, we should be also going in and ordering new stones for these guys and actually putting, you know, their little story on the bottom of it, the same way we've done across the street. They deserve it. This has got a lot of cultural value, especially considering the history of Galveston and the history of the Civil War and its ending and Juneteenth and all of that. You would think that there would be a little bit more emphasis on this graveyard. And so I don't think that this is a city problem. The city's out here doing what they do, and that is, you know, keeping the place clean. It's not trashy, but it is in bad shape. I do think that the state, maybe the feds, ought to give some kind of money to come in here and rehab a cemetery that has such great cultural value, as far as I'm concerned. So I just wanted to kind of walk around and show you guys the difference between the two, and hopefully we all learned something from it. All right, guys, take it easy, simplify.